Hey everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm here and I'm gonna make some stuffing. So I just wanted to come on really quick. I am gonna get my onions diced. I'm gonna use the manual food processor to dice my onions and get those down to a size that I like for this recipe. It can also help you take out some stress because you have to push down on it in order to get them to chop. So you can use it as a great stress reliever, right? So tomorrow is the day that we're gonna have our Thanksgiving with my family here in Tennessee. So I am gonna bake my stuffing ahead of time. I am going to bake it covered for 35 minutes. Make sure, 35 minutes today. And then tomorrow I will take it out of the fridge and then I'm gonna pop it into the oven. I'm gonna bake it uncovered for 10 minutes. So just to finish it off. So that's just a quick and easy way to start and get some prep done ahead of time. So I've got my manual food processor here. Hey, Lucinda. Yeah, I'm headed down to your neck of the woods. Gonna enjoy some of that hot weather for a change. Although we've been really lucky here in Tennessee. It just started to get cold. It's in the 50s. Oh, it's probably almost 60. So not too bad. So I'm gonna quarter my onion and put it in pieces. That way it's easier for me to use this to dice it up. And I'll just do it really quick. And the more that I press down on it, the finer I'm gonna get my onions. So I'm gonna dice them. And like I said, it's a great stress reliever. You can still see some pretty big chunks in there, so I still need to do some more. That looks a little bit better. So I'm just gonna dump these right into the pan. I have my skillet over here and I have 2 sticks of butter. And I am going to saute together my onion with my celery for the beginning of my my stuffing recipe. This is an easy recipe and I'm not going to obviously, I'm not going to put it inside of our turkey. We're just going to have it on the side. Our turkey is in the fridge right now. It is soaking in a citrus brine, which is a salt water bath. Basically, it's been in the fridge since last night in this brine mixture. It's a brine, we heated up the salt water, and then you add in some lemon, some onion, some lemon, garlic. We also did oranges, some peppercorns. So you can pretty much put in whatever you like as far as seasonings, but the citrus is really what makes it pop. So you take the peelings and you peel your lemons and you peel your oranges, and then you save that, and then you can stuff the inside of your turkey before you roast it. So that's what we're gonna put inside of it. Last year we did 3 and they came out absolutely amazing. So again, I'm gonna just quarter my onion, throw it in the food processor. It's kind of a lot, so maybe I'll just do this first. And then I can add in some more. And the good thing about this is all the crying and all that onion juice is inside. You're not crying so much. And this is a great camper item too. So your camper, if you like to tent it, which I have electric in my camper, but you know, there are people that do it the old-fashioned way. All right. So my onion is stuck like on the side here. So I'm just gonna kind of move it around a little bit. I've got a lot of pieces that are diced, but some pretty big chunks. This could be the ones I put in there later. All right, that one little buddy doesn't want to go down. Guess what? We're gonna put the rest in here. And I've got, I already diced up my celery. It called for 4 ribs of celery. So I've already got that already done. I already got it ready. And then the breadcrumbs, I took the bread, 2 loaves of French bread, They were like $1.50 a piece. Chopped them up, cut them up last night, and left them out overnight so that they are, they're hard now. So my bread chunks, my cubes, if you will, are hard now from being out in the air. Now, if you don't have the luxury of cutting it up and you need to do it today or tomorrow or right before you're going to make your stuffing, you can chop up your bread and then you can bake it. If you do 350, I think it was maybe 5-10 minutes. I don't recall honestly, but I would just kind of check it. You start it at 350 and then check it. Start at 5 minutes and see how it's doing. So you can see I have 2 sticks of butter in here, and now we've got I've got my celery added in there. All right, so now in addition to that, I need a poultry seasoning, which I didn't have, so I'm just going to use sage. So you can always ask, you know, whatever. I have an Alexa, so I always ask her what I can use instead of, you know, if I don't have a certain spice. And sometimes I have the alternative, which works out really good. So I need 1.5 teaspoons of poultry season. So we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of the sage. Almost did 2. But I don't think that would have really been too bad. So now we're going to get this cooked down. And I've got it on medium, so maybe that needs to be up a little bit. I love cooking with cast iron. It's one of my favorites. It adds some iron back into your food. It's one of the skillets that I've just fallen in love with. I grew up with my mom constantly using cast iron, so I know how to work it. I know how to clean it, so I'm familiar with it, right? Sounds good if you know what you're doing. All right, I got a big old chunk of onion in here. See that? That's why it's called Pampered and not perfect. Aww. Back into the manual food processor. It's going to go with that other chunk that just didn't want to be diced. And let's see if we can get this going here. Well, my oven is ready. There. That's it. Stick a little bit more onion. And then I'm going to dump this mixture once it's probably about 10 minutes of getting some nice and cooked down a little bit. And then after 10 minutes, I'm going to dump it on top of my breadcrumbs in my bowl. And then I'm going to add in my the parsley, sage, thyme, rosemary. And then I am going to add my broth on top of it. Mix it together, put it in my dish, and then I'm going to bake it for 35 minutes. So, and then it's going to go into the fridge when it cools down. When I take it out tomorrow and I get ready, I'm going to have the oven at 350, and I'm going to bake it uncovered for 10 minutes. Now I'm also going to put some butter on the top of my pan after I have my breadcrumbs in, and this is the rectangular stone that we have, and it also has a lid. So I'm going to use the lid, which you can use this as a tray to cook on, or as a lid, so it fits right on top of that piece. So super, super excited to use that. Here's my breadcrumbs. Like I said, I just cut that French loaf bread up, and I let it get nice and hard and crunchy. The house smells really good like bread. So once this gets to the point where it's cooked down a little bit, I'm gonna add it on top of those crumbs, and then we're going to add the other, I think it's 1 tablespoon, and we need parsley, sage, thyme, and rosemary. And then we're going to top it off with the broth. Now, the broth that I have is actually vegetable broth that I made, and I had in my freezer. So I've taken it out, and I thawed it, and now I've got it in a dish. So I'm going to show it to you because it's a little darker than what you're probably thinking. Oh my goodness, what is that? This is my homemade vegetable broth. So I used carrots, onions, and celery. I cooked it down, and then I took my immersion blender and I got rid of all the chunks. So it worked out really well. I ended up with 12 cups on the first batch I did, and then 10 cups on the second batch I did. So I've got a pretty good stash going in my fridge, in my freezer. I just took them in, I measured 1 cup individual 1 cup Ziploc baggies, and I put it in the freezer that way. So when I know I need a cup, I have a cup. If I need 2 cups, I pull out 2 bags. So it's just an easy way, and then I'm not getting all that salt in our bodies from anything that's in the can. If you buy either the cartoned or maybe canned broth, or even the individual little bottles that it's a powdered or a cube, and then you add water to it, that is a lot of sodium in it. So I'm just trying to find some alternative ways that we can eat a little bit better and just cut out the salt, and then I can add in the salt that I want us to have. So I don't know if you've heard about that Celtic salt rave. So I do have some, and I do use it when I can, and it just works out really well because it gives you the minerals back in your body. It's not that depleted salt that we're used to from our table salt, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, this is one of the Easy Read. It's the little tiny Easy Read. It's 1/4 of a cup, but it also has the measurements for tablespoons on it, which I thought was really cool. I have used these a couple of times when I have rosemary in this grinder, and I needed 1 tablespoon of it. So how am I supposed to grind 1 tablespoon of this into this? I can't hold it and do it at the same time. So this is kind of a cool little thing that I figured out to use these for, and they're so easy to read on the side. So I love them. So while we're waiting for this to cook down, I figured I could talk to you a little bit about that. And I was, if you can believe it or not, I was one of those girls that was always in the kitchen after the fact. I never wanted to be there when my mom was cooking. I always came in and ate, and then I did the cleanup. So of course I had to learn how to cook, right? So being with Pampered Chef has just given me confidence, I would say, that I can take on a new recipe and seriously not get anxiety over it. I really was one of those stovetop stuffing and hamburger helper moms. My son went to culinary school because I think he was sick of eating hamburger helper. He tells me, no, that's not the reason. But, you know, we laugh and joke about it. Now I'm in the kitchen all the time. I absolutely love it. This is my favorite part of my job. Of course, I have to be on the computer and schedule posts and create posts and take my pictures of my videos and upload them and put them here and put them there. But this is my favorite. This is the part that really gives me comfort and actually makes me excited, is to do this part. I would have never been like that before. Last year we made 3 turkeys. Can you believe it? Crazy. So super, super excited to be in love with cooking, because I never was. I don't know about you, but I was always that girl that showed up after to do the dishes. I was the cleanup crew. So now I have a cleanup crew. My granddaughters are loving to get in the kitchen with me, which is wonderful. Every child needs to learn how to cook. And believe me, I'm going to teach them how to cook well, because when I get older and I'm old and gray and in my rocking chair, you know who's going to be cooking for me? My granddaughters. And I want them to know how to cook. I don't want to be eating junk. So I have a method to my madness. Really, I do. So who's with me with that? I don't want to, have to be eating box stuff, go full circle back around to where I started from. I would like to have a little bit better food. So these girls are big into eating steamed broccoli. That's one thing I'm making. It's on my menu. They will eat the entire thing. I bought 2 big heads of broccoli to steam, and they'll eat it all. They love it, which is great. They're used to having fresh fruits and vegetables, which is what their palates are used to having. It's what their body craves. Of course, they want that candy and the sweet stuff, but we try to very much limit to the dyes and the candies and the sugars they're exposed to, because we can see a difference in their actions. You definitely can. All right, so I think we're ready, and I'm going to scoop this into our bowl with our bread. And then I'm going to add in our other seasonings, and then we're going to also add in that broth. So this is a hot mixture, but it's certainly mushing the bread down because you've got all that butter in there. my pan wasn't so hot, I could pick it up and just dump it, but I could use a bigger spoon. So this is just one of the great things I made last year. I made my own dressing. I didn't use stovetop, and I was so excited. I wanted to really dive in and experience the cooking holiday to the full extent of it, and not have anxiety about worrying about all these dishes coming out well and everybody liking the food. So I'll tell you, it was really nice. We had beautiful dinners last year. We had one in Tennessee before we went to Florida. Then we went to Florida. We had one there. And then I made one on Thanksgiving Day, and then we actually cooked another one for my family after that. So we definitely got our fill of turkeys last year for the thankful holiday. This year we're going to have some pumpkin pie, and we're celebrating a couple of birthdays, so we're going to have a little cake or cupcakes or something like that. So that'll be good, and I'm not in charge of that part. I'm just doing the other part of the food. So I'm having somebody else bring dessert. Do you divvy up who's bringing what? It's the best way to do it. Okay, so now let's put in the rest of our seasonings. We've got 1 tablespoon of the rosemary, and then I need 1 tablespoon of the sage. So use a lot of sage in this recipe. And did you notice that this fits right down into your container? Isn't that cool? All right, so sage, thyme, rosemary, so we need thyme to keep track of what I put in and what I didn't. And Pampered Chef has some great seasonings in the pantry section. I've got a ton of them. I just don't have any of them out right now. Just got a whole bunch of different ones out. So now we're going to add in our broth so I can stir this up. Like I said, you can see the color and the carrot chunks and seasonings in my broth, because this is broth that I made and that I froze in my freezer. Just by using up some vegetables that were on the brink of going yucky that I didn't want to have to throw away. So I ended up using them up and made some veggie broth, and then froze that veggie broth for future use. So, you know, you can I picked up a bag of carrots. I think it's like a 3-pound bag of carrots for $3. That's incredible. And you know, you can get some onions pretty cheap. And then you pick up celery there, and you use filtered water or water from your tap, whatever you prefer. And there you have some spices. There's your broth. You just literally have to add back water as it's cooking down, and then taste it. And you kind of want it bland, because you're going to be adding it to different food to make different things. So you don't want to, like, I made it once and I added ginger in it, which I thought was a great idea, but there's some things you don't want ginger in. Like if you're making a stuffing, or say a mac and cheese of some sort, or something where you need it, or you're using it for a beef stew or something like that, you may not want ginger in there. All right, so I'm looking like, and I'm just basically going to keep doing this until I get mostly all of this bread wet. Some of it doesn't appear to be wet. All right. Now I'm going to dump it into my pan, and then it's going to go into the oven. And that's going to be my stuffing. And I don't know if you can hear my husband snoring. He's taking a siesta. Afternoon siesta. Oh, and see, there's some goodies on the bottom that I didn't get mixed in there. So let's get that in there. Look at all that yumminess, right? Focus more on me than you are on the good food. There we go. You know, controlling a camera, controlling the oven, controlling the stove, all at the same time. That's what you learn to do after a while. You have to multitask and have everything all together and everything come together at one time. That's what the holiday dinner is all about, and it can be crazy, right? So, there's our stuffing. And tomorrow, if I'm thinking that it's, you know, it may not be wet enough, that I may throw some more broth on there. But right now, I'm going to bake it down in all this goodness, all this onion and butter and yum. Got more butter over here. It's cooking on there. Yum, yum. All right, so I'm going to cover it and into the oven it's going to go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll show you. I'll post a picture when I pull it out and post it.